The Battle of the Little Bighorn holds a unique position in American history as the most intensely mythologized military engagement the nation has ever produced. Following the engagement in June 1876, the Euro-American narrative solidified into a heroic last stand, a story of the U.S. 7th Cavalry facing insurmountable odds. This romanticized version reached the American public through mass-produced lithographs like General Custer's death struggle. This artwork is heavily self-censored. Custer stands tall in the center of the frame with his blade raised, commanding the field despite all historical evidence to the contrary. That Eastern narrative is distinct from the perspective of the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho forces who won the engagement, men who knew it as the Battle of the Greasy Grass. We have an uncensored primary source that records the experience from the inside. This rendering ignores the conventions of Western military art to capture the sheer scale of the battle, meticulously logging the volume of warriors and horses involved. For decades, Western historians dismissed these indigenous visuals as folk art, bypassing a primary source that provides specific tactical data absent from official Army reports. The author of this account was Red Horse, a Minneconjou Lakota warrior. In 1881, he was commissioned to provide a first-hand record of the engagement. Red Horse produced 42 individual pages of ledger drawings, creating a massive sequential dataset of the battle. This tradition evolved from painting on buffalo hides to document specific military actions and heroic deeds. The Lakota followed a strict system for recording these acts, known as counting coup. To claim a battlefield deed, a warrior required eyewitness verification from his peers. In a culture without a phonetic alphabet, visual recall was a primary tool for preserving data. A historical event was verified by witnesses and then permanently rendered into precise pictographs. Within this framework, every mark and spatial orientation in a ledger drawing carries objective information. To understand the Greasy Grass, we must look at Red Horse's drawings not as artwork, but as a recorded historical database. This specific ledger page contains Red Horse's depiction of the defeated U.S. 7th Cavalry. While the drawings of warriors show fluid movement, the U.S. soldiers are arranged in rigid, falling rows. The first distinct anomaly is their posture. Every single soldier is drawn falling head first, completely upside down. The second anomaly involves their equipment. Their black campaign hats are detached from your bodies, floating away as if marking individual graves. The third anomaly is found on their faces. Red Horse has drawn every soldier completely without ears. In the context of indigenous visual literacy, a deliberate omission of this scale is a specific piece of data. Red Horse intentionally broke the rules of anatomical realism to record a truth that superseded the literal physical events of the field. To understand these anatomical omissions, we have to look at the events preceding the battle. In early June 1876, thousands of Lakota and Cheyenne gathered at Deer Medicine Rocks for a Sundance ceremony. The Hunkpapa Lakota spiritual leader, Sitting Bull, sought guidance for his people against the encroaching U.S. military. Sitting Bull danced for days beneath the blazing sun until he finally collapsed into a deep trance, where he witnessed a prophetic vision. During that trance, he witnessed enemy soldiers falling directly into the Lakota camp, plunging headfirst from the sky. He described them falling like grasshoppers, with their hats tumbling off their heads. This vision gave the warriors confidence that the battle was already decided in the spiritual realm. The vision Sitting Bull experienced included a specific auditory message from a spiritual voice. Regarding the falling soldiers, the voice stated, "These have no ears. These they will die." This was a political metaphor. The U.S. government and its military had ignored previous treaties and repeated warnings to stay out of native territory. In the view of the Lakota leadership, the U.S. forces literally had no ears. Jump forward to 1881, as Red Horse began to record his memory of the fight. He inverted the bodies and omitted the ears to lock Sitting Bull's prophecy into the documentary record of the battle. We can determine if these omissions were a choice by looking at how Red Horse drew subjects he respected. He documented the dead U.S. 7th Cavalry horses with keen memory and detail. These horses are drawn right side up and anatomically complete, with their ears intact. The Lakota had no quarrel with the animals. They had not ignored the treaties. So Red Horse did not encode them into the earless prophecy. Red Horse possessed the skill for anatomical realism. The anatomical omissions of the soldiers were a purposeful historiographical choice. This front page from 1876 shows how Euro-American media framed the exact same event. Inflammatory headlines like this were used to shape public perception for over a century. During that time, Western historians relied on these reports and romanticized art, largely bypassing indigenous testimonies as valid evidence. Red Horse's ledger drawings provide a primary source record rooted in a Lakota spiritual framework, offering a viewpoint that Army reports could not capture. Integrating these visual testimonies allows for a more complete reconstruction of the events at the Greasy Grass. It demonstrates that the historical record depends entirely on the diversity of the sources we consult.